Hi, and welcome to the Leader's Edge, our weekly live interview show where Georgia Donaldson and I, Emily Chiwa, feature successful CEOs and professionals who are so kind to share their stories with us. We want to bring awareness, inspiration, and leadership tips for you to action to help you sharpen your competitive advantage and make a positive impact in your organization and community. Remember, if you are watching us live or even catching the replay, you can leave a comment on LinkedIn for any of our speakers to address. So, our topic today, Georgia, is positioning for women leaders. And
Yes.
before Georgia introduces our lovely guest, Lisa Ann, I just want to, as usual, have you think about some of these questions. So, as a woman leader or one who's aspiring to higher leadership levels, how do you think you are currently positioned? Do you think you are sending the right messages to your stakeholders that you can handle the role and responsibilities? And what are one or two things that you want to improve on when it comes to how you are positioned? So, Georgia, let's introduce Lisa Ann and get into the meat of this matter.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily. It's such a pleasure to be here. This is March, the month of March, and the month where we celebrate women. And we have a lovely woman with us as our guest today.
Mhm.
I'm usually not a betting woman, but I'm going to bet my last dollar on a couple of things here. I'm going to bet my last dollar that the words reputation management and crisis communication are not two words everyday people would use. You don't use those words every day. But guess what? That's not the case for our guest. Those words are words our guest uses every day. And our lovely guest is Lisa Ann Joseph, and she is the managing director of Reputation Management Caribbean. She speaks about reputation management, she speaks about crisis communication as part of her work, and that's what brings her living. And guess what she's been doing for almost 3 decades? Communications, strategic communications. Lisa, we're going to have to check your birth certificate because I can't understand those 3 decades talking
Thank
about that. So Lisa is she's a comms expert. She's a trainer, she's a speaker, and she has served as a marketing consultant for international gatherings. Perfect person to speak to us today on positioning women for leadership.
you. Yeah.
Lisa, we're going to ask you to jump right in. And here's where we want you to start. We want you to tell us why it's important for women in the first place to even think of particularly positioning themselves so that people see them, hear them, and understand them. You talk to us about that, Lisa.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure with these two awesome women today. I love it. Thank you very much. Listen, we're women. We are in this space. We have earned the right to be where we are. And we have to continue telling ourselves that we are enough. We are in this space, and we are in this space for a reason. We have the qualifications, we have the experience, we have the know how, we've put in the work, we are there for a purpose. But what is that little bit that takes us over the top? Our mind. We have to tell ourselves that are here for a reason. We have to remove certain mindsets that we've had, that some of us have been groomed in that way. Some of us have had role models and have grown up in a space where other women leaders have been doing things their way in different environments. But this is 2025, where the expectation now is to step into a space and position ourselves for further success. You are successful already. We're not taking that away from you. We're saying that to move further in your space, whatever that may be, whatever environment you're in, that you have to switch a bit of that mindset to get us into that space. I'm not saying either that you have to think like a man. I'm not saying that at all.
Certainly not.
No, absolutely. You know, we have to push ourselves to exude a level of confidence,
Mm-hmm.
uh, be a little more forthright in demanding and commanding a presence
Mm-hmm.
when we interact in the corporate environment.
Okay. So,
And
Lisa,
that's what we need to do.
maybe it's going to be easier if you share with us some of the experiences you may have had with some of the female executive leaders who you have coached or you've worked with.
Yes. And I'll give you an example,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, this just happened recently, a few days ago, during Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a band, we're playing, and a woman who's a friend of mine, she's a senior professional in an environment, international organization. She is everything that you want and you expect from a woman leader in an international organization. And she says to me, Lisa, we need to do some coaching. So I'm like, for what? She says, well, I need to develop my confidence when I am interacting with media. And I'm like, but you have done this so many times. This is someone who is 30 years in senior leadership positions
Yeah.
internationally. And so she has the experience, she has the qualification, she has the know-how, she knows everything. She has the capability
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
do what she has to do. But what it is, she just needs to be more confident and feel more confident in delivering her messages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So,
I see that a lot with women
right. And
executives.
that's what I was going to ask. So this is not a surprising thing for you
No,
anymore because of
no.
the amount of experience you have had. I mean, probably it is surprising. This particular one might have been given the level, the length
Hmm.
of experience that this person has. But
Right.
so the first thing, I think, the first thing that people should note who are listening here is that if you are in that category of lacking confidence and therefore how you are positioning yourself, how you are coming across in the boardroom, in meetings. I mean, and sometimes you're faking it, right? So you're coming across pretty strong, but you don't feel
Mm-hmm.
it. You
Mm-hmm.
can you can work on those things. You can work on how to improve how you feel in
Yes.
those situations, which will also improve how you perform in those
Yes.
situations, right? So
And that's
Mm-hmm.
the
that's
key.
a very important thing to note. And what are some other things that you want us to know about positioning and maybe some of the as you say, in terms of how women we are socialized to behave that may be getting in the way of us showing up that may not command that level of confidence or that level of respect that maybe our male counterparts may be more easily getting.
Yeah. And yeah, one area is command the room. You know, position yourself in this space. So you have your boardroom table.
Hmm.
You want to be able to position yourself where you have line of sight to the decision makers in the room. You want to be able to contribute to the whatever issues are at hand
Mm-hmm.
instead of waiting to be asked your opinion. I'm
Right.
Yes.
not saying to be upfront and and arrogant and get into anyone's face or anything.
Yes.
I'm saying that you are there for a purpose and your contribution is important. But you
Mhm.
have to be confident in what your contribution is about and how you do it. So and many of my executive clients know what they have to say. They know the quality of the
Mm-hmm.
work that they have and what contributions that they have to offer. But again, it comes back to I'm second guessing myself,
Yeah.
or someone else has offered that suggestion already. And you know what happens sometimes that you may have offered a suggestion, but it may not have come across as confident and as uh, focus as you wanted. And then someone else in the room, it could be a man, would offer the same suggestion. And you're like, I just said that.
Yeah,
And,
he's
th-
gonna
and
love
Yeah.
it.
then,
Because he
and
mansplained it.
exactly, and then the decision maker would in the room would say, "Oh, that's so and so. That's such a good suggestion," and you're like, "But I just said that."
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, probably I wasn't seated in the right position. Probably I wasn't clear in what I had to say.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I did not project in a way that I needed to project, because again, the content could be great, but the projection of it can,
Yes.
dilute the whole focus.
The
All these things
delivery.
matter, and the delivery is important.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The tone of what you say it,
Mm-hmm.
the a lot of things. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
posture as well.
Posture as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 So and we always talk about, this imposter syndrome. You
Mm-hmm.
have to recognize and own your achievements, and that leads me to the other part of positioning yourself. Speak Choose when to speak in terms of I have led my team for so and so. We have had success because I have led my team in doing XYZ. Again, we are socialized to be, my team and I have done so and so, or my team has done this, or
Mm-hmm.
this is a report submitted by my team. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
someone else in the room, could be a man, who can say, "Oh, I did that. That's me. That's all me."
Mm-hmm.
We need to pick and choose what we are saying and how we are saying it, and not default always to the teamwork, and the team or the work speaks for itself. We have to say when we have led the charge, and we have to be very forthright in it, and very um, self assured in saying what we have to say, and that we have led that charge.
Yeah. So
That's important.
saying I, yes. So
Mm-hmm.
Georgia,
Yeah.
she's saying, speaking in the I, claiming the responsibility,
Yes.
and allowing people to know that you have been
You've done it.
you've done the
You
work.
have led the
Yeah.
And
team.
of course,
Yeah.
there has to be balance because you can't hog the show.
No,
So
exactly.
you make sure you talk about and you acknowledge your part that you play, but you also acknowledge the team.
The team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can still bring in your team. Nobody's saying that you neglect the team
Right.
aspect of it. Because a true leader has to acknowledge the team,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's not an I show. You didn't do it all by yourself.
Right.
But I'm saying that you have to also choose the right time,
Mm-hmm.
insert yourself as the leader in the
Yeah.
discussion. And that
Yeah.
is what helps shape the narrative.
Yeah.
If you
And I
want to
mean,
do it, someone else will do it.
exactly. And I know I remember you saying that, seeing you making that statement several times. If you don't speak up for yourself or you don't indicate what you have done, someone else may claim that,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's no longer yours. And you
Yeah.
have to now try to recover. So be careful
Yes.
about being too demure or too humble,
Yes.
or
Mhm.
whatever it is women, some of us
The,
tend to
the
do.
terminology
Yeah.
we use, yes.
Yeah.
We also have
Yeah.
to be mindful as women as well, the level of criticism that we place on other women. If we're sitting in a room and we
Mm,
hear a woman talking about, I did so and so, and my team assisted, I'm criticizing that woman for saying that she did. So we
that's
have to
right.
look at it on the other side too, the women who may criticize. And
Yeah.
it's because of our socialization.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we could lead that charge, huh?
exactly.
Because as women leaders, there are other women looking on. And if we lead with that perspective, and we demonstrate this way of doing things differently,
Mhm.
it helps make the way for those to come after us.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
And
that's
we
right.
yeah,
make that shift. And
yeah,
that is what we have to do. We really need to make that shift, because
Mhm.
our predecessors, um, I mean, as great as they were and all of that, and they are, some of them,
Mhm.
um, a lot of them led differently.
Yes.
But that was right for that time and place. We are
Mhm.
now in 2025, and
Yes.
it has the environment is now demanding that women step into that space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you could become obsolete.
Yes. You know, there's a play on the word positioning as well. It hit me because I've been in boardrooms. I've sat in boardrooms as part of an executive team, and I've seen women position themselves as far away from the seat of the chair as possible so that they're almost invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's positioning in as well,
Yeah.
making sure that they're not seen because they don't want to seem as if they are taking charge.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful.
Or sometimes that whole idea of confidence, they're not as comfortable
That's true.
speaking up or being seen. And that
Yeah.
Yes.
if that is the case, then work on it. I mean, it can be changed, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
work on it.
Yeah.
So
You're there for a reason. You've
mhm,
earned the keep, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
You've
you
done
have
the
the
work.
knowledge. You
You've
have the
put in the
knowledge. You have the
energy.
capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
You're there for a reason. Now you just have to step into this space and
Mm-hmm.
And
build that
own it.
confidence and own it
Own it.
because you deserve it. It is there for you for the
Yeah,
taking. Take it, run with it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because you're there. You've earned the keep.
yeah. So with that in mind, I think, and with time, looking at the time, I think we could try to get to a wrap, Georgia and Lisa.
Yes.
And this has been good. I mean, positioning in a sentence is really what people, I guess, the idea that people have when they think of you, right? Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
is there a better definition of positioning that you want to leave with us, and then the calls, a couple of the calls to action.
Well, if you don't do it, someone else is going to step into the space.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Own your
I
space.
you have to own it. Again, you have done the work, you have put in the time,
Mm-hmm.
you have blood, sweat, and tears. There's a purpose, there's a reason for you there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It
so
all requires you to change your mindset and
yeah,
to step into it.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
That's it. Because if you don't do it, someone else is going to come right in at that moment and
Mm-hmm.
step into the space.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's really about how comfortable you are in your body,
yeah,
yourself, your
Yeah.
skin, and also comfortably in your environment. So it's your
Yes.
position personally and your position with your space.
And doing it continuously
Yes.
because there isn't an off day. There
Yes.
isn't an off day. You have to do it all the time. You
Right.
wish that there's a switch that you can switch off. Do that when you get home. But once you're in the corporate space, that switch has to be on and it has to stay on.
yeah. So, ladies, I hope you have been listening about positioning yourself for leadership success wherever, at whatever stage in your career that you are
Mhm.
at. I think you can take something away from this conversation. If confidence, and we spoke a lot because a lot of it comes from within. To be able to be on, you want to not be like having to literally be on. But if it is exuded from inside, it's not going to take much effort from you.
No.
So work on yourself and turn that switch on. You have lights. Turn on the lights. Let yourself shine. Let your work shine, and
Yes.
speak up. So Lisa
Mhm.
Ann, again, thank you so much for being our guest today. It's been wonderful. Happy again, International Women's Day. We're celebrating
Yes.
all month this month
All month.
on the Leaders
Yeah.
Edge. So, women, we have treats for you, and we hope you love this one. Please leave us some comments. And again, Lisa Ann, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Wonderful.
everyone. Take care. Have a fantastic week.
Yes.